Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to be walking you through the full Stearns Foster product line, which is brand new and completely revamped for 2019. Now, many of you may know Stearns Foster as one of the oldest brands in the mattress industry and one that has long stood for kind of old world craftsmanship and luxury. But this year's collection, I think more so than ever, is really aiming to meld that reputation with the use of some of the most modern and advanced materials available in mattresses today. We're excited to show you how they brought those worlds together. Stick around. Now, one thing that Stearns Foster hasn't changed is that they have 4 total collections in their lineup, and the names have remained the same. All in, you have 22 models in the 2019 lineup. You have 10 models in the Estate collection, which starts at $14.99 for a queen size and goes up to $19.99. Then you have 6 models in the Luxe Estate collection, which picks up at $22.99 and goes up to around $26.99. Then you have 3 models in the Luxe Estate Hybrid, which picks up at $27.99 and goes to $29.99. And then you have the Reserve collection with its 3 models that start at $39.99 and go up to $49.99. So I'm going to start here on the entry-level model in the Estate collection because I think that's a good place to establish sort of the baseline features that all Stearns Foster mattresses have in common, which tend to be particularly found in the support layer of the mattress. All Stearns Foster mattresses use what they call an IntelliCoil, which is a coil-in-coil construction. You're seeing an example of one right here. And what that basically means is you have an outer coil that's a little taller and a little bit more flexible, and an inner coil that's shorter and less flexible. And basically the purpose of that is to allow it to sort of conform where needed, but then it stops it from conforming too much. So it gives you a little bit of like variable resistance, if you will. The deeper you go in, the resistance really picks up so that it keeps, in other words, your heaviest parts from sinking too far, but it makes sure your lightest or concave parts still have some support under them. That's the principle. Now, there are 1,500 of these IntelliCoils, counting each one as 2, in a typical entry-level Stearns Foster mattress, and we'll talk about how that number changes as you move up through the line. But the coil itself is the same, and it's used throughout the mattress. It's not it's not alternated with other types of coils. This is what a Stearns Foster coil looks like, and that really hasn't changed much from previous generations of Stearns Foster. But one thing you would notice if you're comparing it to a previous generation is that it's a little bit softer. They've lightened up the gauge just a little bit of the wire, and they've also changed the construction of this inner coil to make it a little bit less rigid, not to change the fact that it's still very supportive, but just to give a little bit more conformance to these to their mattresses. The other thing you'll notice is that all Stearns Foster mattresses use this edge coil for edge support, and they all have a very strong edge to them. What they've added to that edge coil is ventilated encasement. So you'll see here the little holes in the pocketed encasement here, and that just is to allow air to flow more freely through them. And so it's kind of meant to accentuate one of the features that they've also had in the past, which is these air vents in the side. So you can kind of get even a little bit more demonstrable air puff out of the side of one of those things when you sit on the mattress as a result of this ventilation here. Now, within the Estate collection, as I mentioned before, you're going to find 10 models, and all of these models are going to have certain features in common in addition to the support features that I mentioned previously. For starters, you're going to have this blue side panel, which is new for 2019 and really does have kind of the feel of almost like a nice suit fabric. And you're going to have 6 of these really sturdy handles, which, by the way, are part of Stearns Foster's warranty. They're not decorative handles. If they break, it's an actual warranty claim-worthy event. You have 2 on each side, as well as you have actually you have 8 handles because you have 2 on each end of the mattress as well. You also have these air vents that we alluded to earlier, and you also have a cover that uses a tensile fiber in it, which provides some moisture-wicking properties. So those features are shared across all 10 of these Estate models. Now, within Estate, you do have sort of 2 levels. The entry-level models are going to be known as Hurston, and the higher level estate models are going to be known as Rockwell. And within each of Hurston and Rockwell, you'll have 5 different feels. They range from an ultra firm tight top to a plush Euro pillow top. And that's really going to be the principal distinctions between these estate models is the feels that they offer. The principal difference between the Hurstons and the Rockwells is that with the Rockwells, you're going to get a different type of memory foam. It's what they used to call the Advanced Adapt foam, and now they've rebranded as Indulge memory foam. And part of the reason that they've rebranded that foam is that they wanted to acknowledge the fact that this is foam that is actually created for them by Tempur-Pedic. It's all part of the same parent company now. It actually was previously created for them by Tempur-Pedic as well, but now it's sort of being more openly acknowledged. Now, it's not Tempur material, mind you, but it is a foam made by Tempur-Pedic, and it is a memory foam. So that foam begins at the Rockwell level, the upper end of the estate collection. And what I would say is that in general, in these estate models, you're going to find not a whole lot of that memory feel, except at the top of the estate collection where you get those 2 Euro top models at the very top of the estate collection. I think you do, they've got enough of that Indulge memory foam that you do get just a smidge of that, that slow melting memory feel in them. But overall, these are going to have more of that traditional feel, particularly if you're looking for some of the firmer feels in this collection. You're going to find them in the estate collection. So now we've moved up to the Luxe Estate Collection, which has 6 total models. And again, they're going to vary principally in their feel, starting with a firm tight top and going all the way to what they call an ultra plush Euro pillow top. Now, one thing that all these mattresses in the Luxe Estate Collection have in common that you don't get with the Estate Collection is what they call IntelliCoil HD. Basically what this means is it's the same coil, but they figured out a configuration that allows them to get 20% more of these coils into the support layer of the mattress than you're going to get with the Estate Collection. And to sort of try to come up with a simple way to explain how they did that, think of a 6-pack of cans. Typically it's arranged in a grid, right? So you have space in between each can where you can stick your fingers and hold the 6-pack. Well, imagine if you took 3 of those cans and you just shifted them over slightly so that the 3 cans went right into the gaps of those other 3 cans. Well, there'd be a lot less space for your fingers to go, and effectively those cans would take up less total area. Well, that's essentially what they did with these coils, is they offset them in a way that allows them to get more coils into the same amount of area. So in this model, you're going to have 1,700 or so coils as opposed to the 1,500 coils in the regular Estate Collection. So that's what they mean by IntelliCoil HD. HD stands for high density. Now, they did soften up the coils a little bit because of the fact that you have more coils so that it doesn't become too firm. But overall, you're still going to get a little bit more of a firm support layer with the IntelliCoil HD. Now, the other things that you're going to find in the Luxe Estate, in the plush models, anything that has the word plush in it, so it could be a plush tight top, it could be a plush Euro top, you're going to find a new kind of memory foam that we haven't shown you yet called Indulge HD. So basically, it's this is your traditional Indulge that we just showed you. This is the Indulge HD, which basically is a higher density foam. We're talking about over 5 pounds of density here versus 3 3/4 density over here. And it's also a lot softer. So they achieve a different feel by using this HD memory foam, which provides the mattress with more softness. And you can definitely feel the difference between these 2 memory foams. In fact, one thing that's also interesting to note is that the regular Indulge is a little bit slower responding than the Indulge HD. So while you get a little bit more plushness in these plush models that use the Indulge HD, you get a little more of that delayed slow ride, if you will, with the firmer models that use the regular Indulge memory foam. So again, both of these are preference-based characteristics, softness and memory feel. So neither is better or worse. I'm just giving you a sense of what to look for depending on what your preferences are. But in general, in these Luxe Estate models, you are going to get more memory foam than you did with the regular Estate models. And another thing you're going to get is in these 3 Eurotop models, so 3 of the 6 Luxe Estate models are Eurotops, you're going to get these microcoils. And these are really kind of an interesting microcoil. They add a lot of springiness to them. Essentially, these are coils that would be normally about this tall, but they're sewn into these fabric pockets that make them only about 1 inch. So they have just a lot of spring to them. So that gives the mattress, they sandwich this in between some of the foam layers, and that just gives it a little bit more of a quick response feel than it would otherwise have. And as you can see here too, they've also done something to these coils where they've taken that same ventilation strategy to the pocketing here. So again, that's designed to just add a little bit more airflow to this particular layer of the mattress. The last thing I would just say about the Luxe Estate collection is while you do get more memory foam and you definitely get, as a result, a little bit more of that memory feel, it still is not up at the top of the mattress. You're still getting more of that traditional feel in terms of having a quilting layer above any of the memory foam in these Luxe Estate mattresses. So for those of you who like that traditional feel with that non-memory quilting up at the top, you're still getting that on these Luxe Estate models. One other thing we thought was worth mentioning about the Luxe Estate mattresses is that they've actually come down in price a bit from the previous generation. The non-Eurotops have come down about $200 and the Eurotops have come down about $300. Now that's not true across the board in all of the Stearns & Foster lineup, but we don't see that very often, so we thought it was worth calling out. So now we're going to get into the Luxe Estate Hybrid collection, which has 3 total models. And here you're really going to see a change in the feel of the mattresses, which is going to stem principally from the fact that you're not only adding a little bit more memory foam to these mattresses, but you're also taking all that memory foam and moving it right up to the top of the mattress where you're going to feel it the most. As you can see here, this is a stretch cover with no quilting at all. And what that basically means is that the memory foam is really right below this cover. It's going to start with about 1 inch of what they call premium gel memory foam right up at the top. And below that, directly below that, is you're going to get into some of that Indulge memory foam that we showed you earlier. It's either going to be, once again, the regular Indulge if you're looking at a firm model, or the Indulge HD if you're looking at a plush model. And in total, you're talking about roughly 4 inches of memory foam in all of these mattresses, give or take. So that's a lot of memory foam, and it's going to give you a lot of that slow, melty memory feel in each of these models. Now, of course, it is a hybrid, so you're still going to also get that bounce. And that's going to come from a combination of both the IntelliCoil HD unit, which is shared with all the models above the Luxe Estate level, so all the way up to Reserve. But also it's going to come from these tightly packed microcoils that we showed you earlier. So you have a layer of these in each of the Luxe Estate Hybrid mattresses that kind of sits in between roughly the pocketed coils and the foam layers. So it's not really going to add a lot of springiness to the top of the mattress, but it is going to add a little bit of additional overall bounce to the mattress. So definitely going to give you that hybrid experience. That being said, in the overall spectrum of hybrids, I would say that the Luxe Estate hybrids probably veer a little bit more towards that memory feel kind of vibe than they do that bounce kind of vibe. A couple other features that are present on all the Luxe Estate hybrids, one of which is this tape edge. So this is something new for 2019. Is they used to have what they call a waterfall edge, where the foams are just kind of stacked and the cover just sort of wraps around, and there's no stitching until you get a few inches down below the sort of top surface of the mattress. Well, they felt like they could create a little bit more stability and durability in the mattress if they instead put a tape edge up here. So it just kind of helps the mattress get through the shipping process a little bit better and what have you. So that's one change. And then another change is just a little bit more of this velvet in the side panel, this really soft velvet. We didn't actually call it out explicitly with the Luxe Estate, but at the Luxe Estate level, they add velvet to these handles. And with the Luxe Estate Hybrid, you also get a little bit more of it up here. So that's your Luxe Estate Hybrid overview. So now we've arrived at the very top of the Stearns & Foster lineup, the Reserve collection, which also has 3 total models. And this collection certainly is the ultimate embodiment of everything that Stearns & Foster stands for today, including that old world luxury and those modern materials that they now use. let's talk about some of the things that these three models all have in common. And maybe the first thing you'll notice is that they've taken that velvet material we showed you earlier and they now used it for the entire side panel. And I should point out, this is not velour, this is actual velvet, and it is extremely soft and luxurious feeling. Another thing that you will notice is that they use what's called functional tufting. So basically what that means is that these tufts are not just decorative. I'm able to press down the layers of the mattress and you'll see the string here, and this string goes all the way through the mattress. It's inserted with a really thick, fat needle by a person, goes all the way through the mattress, and it basically cinches all the layers of this mattress together. It comes out all the way out the bottom of the mattress. So that's a real kind of old world craftsmanship type of technique to add durability to a mattress. Another thing that you'll notice about all of these mattresses is that they have these what they're called nanocoils. And these are actually particularly interesting nanocoils because they have essentially 3 rows of firmer nanocoils that go around the perimeter of the mattress. And the idea is to give a little bit of extra edge support up in the comfort layers of the mattress. So, you know, the edge support features of this mattress are down in the support layer of the mattress, but with a mattress this thick, with this many layers of foam on top of that edge support feature, it's hard to keep a really strong edge. So it is kind of nice to have something that enhances the edge that sits a little higher up in the comfort layers. So while these mattresses maybe aren't the best edge support that Stearns & Foster has to offer, these nanocoils actually do help, I believe, to create a firmer edge. So those are some of the things that these mattresses all have in common, but I think it's also worth pointing out that within this relatively small collection of 3 models, they've actually created a pretty wide variety of feels along the lines of what we consider to be preference-based characteristics, things that are not better or worse, they're just a matter of your personal preference. So for example, this plush tight top and the top of the line plush Euro top both use a substantial amount of memory foam. This one uses 4+ inches and that Euro top uses 5+ inches, which is as much or more memory foam as any mattress in the Tempur-Pedic lineup. So both of these have a substantial amount of memory feel. And also they have a lot more of that hugged or cradled sensation that you get sort of more sleeping in the mattress. Whereas by contrast, the firm tight top model has only about 1.5 inches or so of memory foam, giving you a little hint of that memory feel, but not a whole lot of it. And you'll certainly feel a lot more of the bounce as a result in the firm tight top. And likewise, you'll feel much less of that hugged or cradled, almost more of a floating on top of the mattress sensation instead. So all of those things are just preference-based characteristics, but I say those to point out the variety you have at your disposal in this reserve collection to really kind of meet whatever your preferences are. Now, one last thing I wanted to point out that I do think is an embodiment of the handcrafted nature of the Stearns & Foster brand is this label here, which is signed by one of the master craftsmen who built this exact mattress. Now, you're going to find one of these labels on any Stearns & Foster mattress from any of their 4 collections. But in the case of the Reserve collection, you're also going to see that it has this really hefty metal kind of medallion attached to it, which definitely gives it an added luxurious touch. But overall, I just wanted to point this out because this is a personalized touch. This is not a screen printed signature. This is a guy with a Sharpie signing this mattress. And I do think that that is a reflection of the kind of attention to detail that you'll find with a Stearns & Foster mattress. So we hope you found this to be a helpful overview of the new Stearns & Foster product lineup. For more help in finding the right mattress for you, go to GoodBed.com. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we really hope you sleep well.